You talked about turning weaknesses into strengths,
Sure.
like defensive rebounding in the zone. What was the biggest culprit, do you feel, when you broke the tape down last year, and how do you feel like you can address that this year?
You know what, I think last year, just in different zone attacks, you're susceptible, the zone's susceptible to defensive rebounding lapses anyway. There's a lot of holes in it. It's not going box out like man-to-man. You're changing a lot of habits in terms of rebounding from kids, and so they've got to learn all new habits. We hit and go get. We have to go to certain areas. You're almost creating a triangle in the middle of the paint where it's protection, and the guards have to be involved for long rebounds. I think that's one thing that we're getting better at. I think a big part of it is, in a lot of the games when we couldn't score last year, our best scoring lineup was a small lineup. And so, you're going 6-3 in the back line, 6-7 with Noah at the center. And so getting bigger in those positions helps that cause, from defensively forcing them to miss, but then able to go and retain the ball. That's going to be a huge part if we have the success that we believe we can have this year.
To add on to that, the second part, the assists that you mentioned, what was kind of the biggest culprit, and what do you think is going to change?
It just goes back to, you're trying to get your best shooters great shots. And if they get taken away, we have, I think, 5 guys we can put on the floor that can all have big games. It's just stressing the one more. I think a lot of guys, when you're a thirsty scorer, which we have a few of those guys, you've got to be able to be aware of everybody around you. And so awareness of where Dominic Green is at all times in transition off screens, understanding that you might have a good shot, but there's a great shot in the corner. And that's a culture piece. That's something that you try to fight every day. You're not perfect. You don't want guys thinking that they have an open shot and they shoot a contested shot. You don't want them thinking that, because some guys can make that. But usually you want that to be the last 10 seconds of a shot clock where you're forced against really good teams to make that one-on-one play. But early, it's the ball movement, better ball movement, better cutting, better screening. Doing what we did last year, but at a higher level of execution, basically. And then the thought of one more.
Joe took a big step at the free throw line a year ago, and that really impacted his numbers.
Huge.
What's the next step for him?
Who was that? Yeah, I just think, Noah had games. I mean, he had against DeAndre Ayton. I mean, he can score against anybody. He just has that ability when he's on. And so it was more so the consistency there. His foul shooting really improved, which helped us. He has the ability not only to score, but to get you in foul trouble. And that's the double bonus. He's begging me to shoot threes, but he's been working on it. And he's really improved. But it's just, it goes back to what we talked about, like the consistency part of it. Okay, so Noah, 70% of the games, you were the best player in the country, the best player in the league. Now we need to get you to 85% of the games, and that's part of raising the bar. It's never going to be perfect, but you're striving for that. That's what you're pushing these guys to, that level. And, usually, through my experience, when you set the bar and your culture's this way, they'll adapt to it.
How does that sort of struggle with like him wanting to be more of a three-point shooter, and obviously his strengths are down low? How does that play out, and where do you think that goes?
Well, again, I don't, nothing out there is done with an experiment. Like, we'll experiment in practice, and a lot of stuff is tried and true. And so, you proved to me that you can do that in practice at a high rate. I think I gave him 65% of open ones. If you can prove that you're shooting that, and I won't tell you what he's shooting right now to let you know. But, if he can do that, then, yeah, that's smart coaching. But we're going to do what's best for the team. It's the team. It's tougher together. It's the extra pass, playing the way that we want you to play, because we proved last year that if we execute our game plan, it didn't matter who we played, we would win. And that was proven. Now can you consistently do that and execute that over time?
Last year you had spent a lot of time installing the defense and teaching it. We saw a little bit of man-to-man. We saw a little bit of full-court pressure.
Yeah.
Is this something that, now that you've got that base defense in, that you can expand on and do other things? And who are some of the guys that really know this defense backwards and forwards?
Well, I think, it's a great question because, we have to evolve as a program. And it goes back to, do you go what really worked? You definitely do that. What can we show against some of these other teams that gave us problems where we can change the tempo? Those are things that we've been working on. But I think we're going to hang our hard hat on that zone. They believe in it. We got really good at it. Now we're bigger and it will be better. Who's great in the zone? Obviously, we know Matisse. I think David's great at it. I think it's like a great combination with the way that Matisse flies, and if he gets beat, David's always there to protect him. And then Matisse is coming back like Superman to save the day with blocked shots and disruption all over the place. Now it goes back to getting them to believe, like Matisse, you need to get 5 or 6 rebounds for us to win. David, getting a combination of maybe 10 or 11 rebounds from that guard position would be huge. And just, it's that mentality, part of coaching, in my opinion, is the simplicity, like keeping it as simple as possible. And then, where focus goes, energy grows. And you can't focus on everything. Like, what are the core things? So it's that extra pass, that's where we can rise. 5 guys rebounding, that's where we can rise and get better at execution offensively, and then defensively of what we've been doing. That's how I see this season going.
Protectors that you're bringing in, does that allow you to trap a little bit more, play a little
It allows you to extend, it allows you to press, extend. If you go into your switching man or whatever you're doing, you're able to be more aggressive out here because you have rim protection back there. And, Sammy did a really good job for us last year. Now, if he got in foul trouble, we could put in a 7-footer that can shot block just as good. Last year, we would go with Noah, which was great because we became offensively better, but maybe not as good defensively. So when you have options, that's a luxury. When you have experience, that's a luxury. Now it comes down to good or bad coaching. No.
Mike, you talked about the style, like Utah, for instance.
Sure.
And now that you've gone through a whole year of playing each of those teams, at least once, maybe twice, is there some things about the styles that you were wedded to that you really wanted to hammer home last year where all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm not so sure in the Pac-12 that might work as well as maybe I thought it might?
I didn't, to be honest with you, coming back here, we tried to press, we tried to play like West Virginia. That was the whole preseason. That's what we did. And when we decided that we didn't want to just be good at a lot of different things and confuse them, like what could we hang our hat on? What could we be great at? And it became the zone for us. And you saw the belief. You saw after the Kansas game, you saw their mindset start changing because they executed. And it was like, oh, my God, what they told us was real. And so you start to see that belief. And then they started seeing what they could do. And then there's that part of the zone, and then it goes back to, can you make adjustments on the fly? And we got better. So certain attacks, we were able to do that. Now, in all those games, the Utah games, the one here, we had a 12-point lead in the second half. And we weren't able to, turnovers, 4 shots, some certain things that goes back to that part of the game where we have to get better at. I mean, I think we had Arizona down 16 early in the second half. Like, we had some really good teams down by large margins, just where we took a quick shot. We made an aggressive play where we turned it over. That's another area where we need to get better at. But you got me rambling now, so I apologize, everybody.
Plan to play the scrimmage like a real game, or do you rotate and mix and match? And the other part of that, the reasoning behind playing such a high caliber team like this on the road was what?
Listen, you get a chance to play a top 10 program on the road. I felt like the Boise State game last year was great for us. We went down there. They were physical with us. They were very well coached. It was a veteran team. And that's what you want your guys to go against. And it's a great luxury because you still don't play your first game for 2 weeks after. So you can go down there, see where you're at. It goes back to what you were talking about, expectations. Well, let's go play one of the best. Let's go see it. You're playing in a tough environment in front of 11,000 fans against a preseason. I think they might even be top 5 against a great coach, great program. And let's see where we stand. There's nothing like having a game like that where you can go back where it doesn't count in the win or loss column, and you can go back and watch film. You either get humbled or you got to bring them down, and you play well and you got to bring them down. But for the most part, I know the guys are excited to go play this game. It will be great for great cause and be great for our guys. And, you know, you got to know now because our schedule, there's no hiding. You know, people don't know Western Kentucky's really, really good. And then 3 days later, you're going to play at Auburn. You know, but that's what we want to do with our program. We want to play the best, and we're going to have to be really fine-tuned earlier than we were last year and as expected.
Do like you plan to play it like a straight game, or do you rotate?
You know, that's a good question. You know what? I'm a gut guy, so you know, we're going in there to win the game. But I think it's a great opportunity to try some. You know, that's when we say like, you know, try some things. I think we'll try some things, try different lineups to see how they are. You know, you play against each other all day. You know, it's going to be good to play against somebody else. And we'll learn a lot about ourselves. So we're going to win. That's just the bottom line. I'm not, you know, I'm not going in there to try things to lose. We don't do that here. That's not who we are. You know, we'll learn a lot.
Did you target Nevada specifically for trying to put this together?
Well, you know what? We had tried to get him here. We tried to get him there. We would just want a high-level game. Eric Musselman, you know, Dave Rice coached there 2 years ago, and really close friends. Great, you know, friendship with the programs, and you know, it's great for West Coast basketball. And we tried to get him here, but I think there was a volleyball game and a football weekend, so we couldn't get the facility. But you know, you get to play a team like this early is a great thing.
When it comes to your scheduling philosophy, does it change for you at all when you have an experienced group like this and maybe a younger, less experienced group?
I think so too. But you know what? It's I think going back for us, it was more studying basically what's happening with the new model for the NCAA tournament selection. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, and it's what you realize in scheduling. It's hard to get teams to come out here. It's a long trip, you know, to come out here. You look at there's scheduling problems and situations, and so. You know, Cameron Dollar, who's in charge of our scheduling, did a great job of getting really good games, and we tried to coordinate. And you know, we used a computer software program based on the last years of the NCAA tournament in terms of the numbers and how they match up and what they're looking for. And you know, you want to be able to go out and not only play the best, but give yourself the best opportunity to get in that tournament and have a chance to play for it. You can't play for a national championship if you're not in the tournament. And so, is it a little bit risky? Is it scary? Yes. Are you kidding me? Heck yes. You know, I could have sat there and said, we're going to schedule and try to win 23, 24 a year. And, you know, for the ego of the coach, we're doing it for what's best for the program. And, you know, iron sharpens iron. Go play the best, see what we got. And may the chips fall. You know?
You mentioned Boise in terms of how that was a great barometer for you guys. And was that something then going into this year, whether it was going to be Nevada or someone else, was that something you had immediately targeted as far as part of your scheduling that you wanted?
Yeah, we wanted to play a game. I talked to Leon at Boise because we were going to play them again. And we thought with our team coming back, the schedule that we were playing, that not only Boise State would have been a great game for us, but this one was going to be with fans. And so when you can go play in front of 11,000 great fans on the road at a top 10, top 5 program, you know, I just felt like having a veteran team with the schedule that we have to find out where we're at. You know, you can only see so much in practice. You know, you got to be able to go out there and play that game. And so it was something that we were targeting. We looked at other teams too, but it ended up being West Coast, fly out there, get back the next day, and really challenge ourselves.
Actively trying to pursue.
I love it. Yeah, we would love to do it here. You know, like have here, sell out, bring a team here. You know, raise awareness for homelessness or a great cause, and really connect with the city and do something. You know, we talk about having awareness of all, having awareness of our city. How can we help build? How can we help? How can we use the program to help? That's what we try to promote here at University of Washington basketball.
All right, thanks, Coach. Seniors Dominic Green and David Crisper in the back.
Yeah, DC. Let's go, Dom.